That sounds fantastic. An amazing event. And I'm just going to change gears for a second because you know what? Screen time is a big thing for every parent, even the parents themselves. Yes, look at yourself in the mirror. It's a thing. So as the new school year begins, many parents are facing the challenge of managing their children's screen time. It's just been a long holiday. And how do we just get the balance right, especially with the increasing reliance on smartphones and digital devices? And we need to unpack. We brought someone back. We did all the paperwork. Finally, Sadia Southgate is available to us, registered counsellor and expert in psychoeducation to help guide parents through these challenges. So this is for you. And I know it's tough. How do we find that equal balance? Because I can tell you, first and foremost, screen time, it doesn't count if they're watching Expresso on S3, 6 to 9 a.m. in the morning. Other stuff, sort it out. Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
So
Thank
nice to see you again.
Thank you. Likewise.
So, yeah, holidays. Holidays have been causing a bit of that imbalance with regard to screen time.
Yes.
But before we get there, I got some stats here. Given children aged 8 to 10 spend about, here, the 6 hours a day on screens. Teenagers aged 11 to 14 averages 9 hours daily. Where do you find the time? Where's the school? So let's talk about the impacts of extensive screen time. And also, let's be sensitive to the fact that when I grew up, I got out of my house, I walked 3 suburbs to a friend's house.
Yes.
All right? And I saw them.
Yeah.
Now, this is old school. Now, the friend network for our kids
Yes.
is on those platforms.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's be open about that as well, not just be biased on one side. But let's talk about the impact of screen time, just to start off there.
Yes, it's a very important topic, you know, because like that big, I like to call it like a truck that kind of just hits you.
Yes.
Because now it's the school holidays and then immediately like you go back to school. So now how does the kids adjust? How does the parents adjust? It's like, I feel like that first week is like just chaos. Everybody is just running around trying to navigate everything. But to get down to the basis of it, you know, the impact of that is, you know, you get screen time and then immediately you get homework. Because now how do the parents navigate and balance that? But the impact of that is with understanding that mental health is such a big thing. So now with kids between the ages of 8 to 10, that's already sitting 6-7 hours a day on that. And navigating through that is so important because now they can experience like the signs or effects of obesity, behavioral issues, depression and anxiety, loneliness, isolation, identity issues. Like the list is so big because the reality of the situation is that kids are impacted whether we like it or not.
Very true. But now we need to create resilient kids. And I think that's important because remember, with screen time, this is the future.
Yes.
This is where they will make their money one day. This is where they will apply. Registered counsellors are on screens helping people from far and wide. I mean, this is where the platform is. But now we need to create resilient kids that can handle all of what social media brings to their table. How do you create that as well? And then also creating healthy screen time. So not saying delete it completely out of their lives.
Yes.
Healthy screen time.
Yes.
How do we nurture that?
It's an important question that you're asking, you know, because you mentioned also is that screen time is not going anywhere.
No.
So we need to learn to embrace it. And I think the moment parents realize that is going to be such an important role play for navigating through that. Because, you know, you asked how do we navigate the resilience of kids is that, you know, by nature as human beings, we are resilient. So it's just navigating and finding that balance between I'm not going to remove this device immediately because that in itself is going to be a shock to the system. The child is going to throw a tantrum. That is going to make the parents again feel like they are going through a cycle of just a whole bunch of emotions that they don't know how to navigate through. So it's recognizing that there's a time frame that we are working with, setting a schedule, setting, let's say, a time frame of let's say hours of only 1 to 2 hours, for example. But now we're looking at the stats. So if the child, for example, is going through, let's say 6 to 7 hours, how do you cut it just immediately to 1 hour? So limiting that time, saying that we are not going to have screen time by the dinner table. We are not going to have screen time in our bedrooms. So cutting it down to those kinds of things, like minimizing certain things and implementing other things, because that's what kids want. If you're taking away something, what are you replacing it with? That's what's important.
I love what you said there. And we need to unpack what we can replace these things with as well, because there's a myriad of different things that are happening at the dinner table, because sometimes that phone is on and
Yes.
dinner's being eaten, and that's a no-no. But
Yeah.
we'll unpack all of this with you. Remember, we've got another chat with Sadia coming up. If you have any questions, 063-408-8863. We'll navigate along with you. Hold your hand, as we always do, right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here on S3. Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. I'm so glad you didn't manage this screen time, because this is important screen time that helps you manage the screen time in your home. You know, as you know, with many kids starting the school year, it's essential for parents to lead by example and create an environment that promotes balance and well-being. So Sadia Southgate is still here, registered counsellor, and just to provide some practical advice for you, the parent, to navigate this digital age and still not create animosity in your home. I do want to touch on something. So earlier we covered some good bases, but academic responsibilities versus screen time. There are many rebuttals from kids saying that I feel a lot more in a community when I have my phone open and I'm on a Discord chat, or I'm on a chat and we are feeling like we're all in this. So it's people in their class. They're all doing homework together and they're engaging on this platform, screen. And maybe the video call is on and we're doing homework together. Very, very slippery slope there between social and focus on academics. I needed to unpack this with you as a curveball, as you know I like to throw in there. Is there any ways that we can negotiate that scenario with our kids?
I definitely think that you can, you know, but the thing that comes to mind is that, you know, what works for one household is not necessarily going to work for another household. So let's say in my household, the kids are able to navigate through that. I'm able to manage that, or in someone else's household, they're not able to manage that because they, let's say, against screen time and academics, they needed to be separate. And perhaps it's the kids. The kids possibly aren't able to navigate through working on the screen and seeing the friends, because now the friends are already a distraction and I'm needing to focus on my academics. So I would say having to learn how to find kind of a structure or schedule that is working for that particular household. So one of the things that come to mind is manage screen time. So let's say it is that they are meeting with their friends online. Let's meet for 15, 20 minutes, cutting it there instead of sitting on the phone for an hour, 2 hours, and then we get distracted and we're not focusing on the work. So as a parent, I would follow up. Have you done your work? Have you done this? So if it is that I can say that my child has been doing all the necessary, or tick off the checklist, then absolutely it's okay. But it's the reality of recognizing that that's not going to happen every single day. So there's the managing of the time and the managing of the screen, but also allowing my child to be able to do what they feel is comfortable as long as they're completing their work.
Do you think that's the path of least resistance? Because there's a lot of animosity that can happen when you do start curtailing screen time. Let's be honest. They're going to look at you and say, like, but my friends are there, and like, how can I even exist in this world without a phone or without this tablet? So is there any foolproof way of creating a less animosity pathway to just remove some of that screen time, to say, like, I want to help you as a parent to focus on your academics. I want to help you. I want you to find a hobby, because a lot of kids nowadays, this idea of a hobby, it seems like it's out the window. And I'm hoping that it's not the case. So please help us as parents to find a way to minimize screen time without causing the war of the home.
One of the things that come to mind is, you know, is to kind of have a system in place. And what I mean by system is not, like you say, some of the kids, they don't like activities or a hobby. They don't necessarily have a hobby. So if your child does not have a hobby, try and find what that is. But not only that, the things that come to mind is that the reality is that there will be behavioral issues. But recognizing also that even with the behavioral issues, that I'm going to create almost like a chart for my child. So let's say that this chart will allow my child that if you are minimizing your screen time during the week, that you get, like, let's say 3 stars. So that chart is there, so the kid can kind of see that at the end of the month, I'm able to get this reward if I spend this amount of hours on my screen time and spend this amount of hours doing my homework. So let's say 3 stars for the 1 week, 2 stars for the next week, so that if the kids gets to, let's say, 10 stars at the end of the week, then they get, let's say, their favorite meal, or they go and watch Mufasa in the cinema
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. Have a chart that the kid is able to see, this is my progress, and because I'm close to, let's say, getting my reward, I'm going to minimize my screen time. So I have like that system in place, a reward system, I would say, in place that the child is able to see and witness, because as human beings, we like to visualize things.
Yeah.
So once the kid can see, I'm close to getting that, okay, today I'm not going to sit with my phone because tomorrow it's reward time. And that will kind of like bring that instant gratification that they are able to look at.
My last question,
Yes.
all right, it's a very quick one. I'm going to not call out parents, but a lot of kids, young people, model behavior.
Absolutely.
And I had a very interesting conversation with someone during my leave time, and they were frustrated by how often the kid is on their phone.
Yes.
This person told me this while they were on their phone, while they were scrolling through a platform. So just a quick one on modeling behavior and parents setting the example.
Yes.
Can we just add a bit of awareness on that and how
Yes.
people learn, young people learn from us?
Yes, yes. It's a very real thing in our world because, you know, the saying goes that kids don't do what we say, they do what we do.
That's correct.
So if me as a parent, if my, let's say my words is in line with what I do,
Yeah.
it will become a lot easier for the kid to be able to navigate and understand, okay, my parent is doing it, so that means that I'm also doing it. So the reality is that I'm setting the standard. It starts with me as the parent first. And oftentimes we want the kids, no, you don't get to ask mommy. And it's just, I say so. And that's the thing, is if we don't have reasoning for what we're saying, the kid is going to be like, no, but if you can't tell me, mommy and daddy, why I can't be doing this, then the reality is that if they're not doing it in their home, they're going to be doing it somewhere else.
Exactly. So essentially, dear parent, if you're worried about screen time, maybe also check your own screen time as well, just to make sure that you are setting that example in your household. Sadia, thank you so much for joining us once again. It's been lovely chatting to you. And let's continue. Setting healthy boundaries. Encouraging tech-free zones in the home is another option for you. But more importantly, let's lead by example as parents. We can help our children build better habits that'll benefit their academic success and overall well-being.